And we are back. What day is it? It is Tuesday, and we are back. We are back. We are back. It's about to be on and popping, as the young folks would say.
Yeah, we got.
As Ray would say, it's litty. Listen, guys. Now, welcome back. Over to my right is none other than the Queen herself, Debbie Petra Smith.
That's me.
And over to her left is her king.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, King Edward James Smith III.
That's him.
And together we are Meet the Smiths. We are certified marital, premarital counselors. We're Amazon best-selling authors. Stop. Recipient of the Monroe County Image Award for written expression.
Mm-hmm.
And listen, we're here on no other radio station than Clear.fm, the Clear Choice. You know, talking about relationship, we love to talk about relationship. And tonight we're going to look at, you know, dating now versus dating then.
Mm-hmm.
The millennial dating.
Yes.
What does that look like? Interesting. You know, so we're going to unpack some stuff, you know. The panel, the folks that are on the panel is a lot of men, so, you know, there's a lot of testosterone inside here today.
Yes,
you know, we're going to unpack some stuff.
Yes, we're excited about this evening's show. You know, we're talking to millennials, some Generation Zs. Are you guys Generation Zs? I don't even know. I think I was X, so you guys should be Zs. But yeah, we're going to look at dating, how dating used to look, how it looks now, but we really want to talk about how it looks for our young people. So, you know, we're going to ask some questions, we're going to have some fun, we're going to learn some new terminologies, we're going to learn what's going on with the younger generation, and it's going to be a lot of fun. So we're happy to have you guys. We can see you guys jumping on and joining in. Addie, Doreen, Rob, thank you guys so much for watching and for sharing. Doreen, we see you, girl. What's up? Addie.
Doreen.
Hi, Doreen. Hi, King and Queen. Glad to have you guys joining us. Make sure you're sharing, letting your friends and family know that the Smiths are on. So, you know, we like to start with, how was your weekend? Our weekend was great. We had a great weekend.
Yep.
You want to tell them what we did, babe, or you want me to tell them what we did?
You could do. We were living la vida loca.
Living la vida loca. So we unplugged from the world this weekend. We haven't done that in a while, so it was good. We unplugged. We got away. We were in Harrisburg for a marriage retreat. We were with over another 120, 130 couples. And we went to a marriage retreat. I checked in with the kids twice for the weekend, once on Friday evening, once on Saturday afternoon. The rest of the time, the phone was off, no Facebook, and it was good just to reconnect. So to our married couples out there, please invest in your marriage. Take some time out every once in a while and just get away, you know, unplug from everything and reconnect to your spouse.
Funny enough, we didn't even miss the phone, right?
Oh no, I certainly did not miss it. We made a promise to ourselves in the car. We weren't going to take our phones into the session, so we weren't scrolling.
No, she made a promise, and then she put me in the headlock and said, "You're going to hold fast to that promise."
Yes, so we left our phones in the hotel room when we went to the sessions, and there were no distractions, because when you have your phone, you want to scroll to see who's doing what, who posted what, and then you lose focus of why you're there. So we just unplugged and we had a really, really good time. We had some aha moments during the weekend, heard things in a different way than we've heard them before.
Yeah. Can you remember the 3 different?
I knew you were going to do that. So we watched this video, and the video talked about the 3 flames that you need to have in your marriage, right? The Raya, which was the friendship. You know, you have to have that friendship with your spouse. Then there was the
VT. It starts with a VAT. It ends with a VAT.
Yeah, it ends with a VAT. I can't remember. It's a Greek word.
Yeah.
I can't. It's written down. I promise you. But that's like the commitment. So you go from the friendship to the commitment, and then you have the DOE, D-O-E. Yeah. That's the passion, you know. And the guy who did the video, it was so creative. He talked about if all you have is the dough and all you have is the passion, how quickly that flame is gonna burn out. But when you have all three together, the flame it's just a fire that continues to go and go and go. You just can
never get enough.
Can't get enough because you're friends, you're lovers, you're committed, and the relationship is so much richer. So that was an aha moment.
It was so important that, you know, we need these three different flames to have or understand what physical intimacy looks like or feels like. But unfortunately, today's society, you know, separate them. You know, a guy see a girl and mentions she look good, whatever, and eventually sleep with her, will never experience those three flames because now, you know, it's not a friendship and it's not the intimacy or any of that thing. So it's just the dough,
right? You
know, and so, you know, I performed the dough, and that's enough. But, you know, the way that he did it, it was so awesome.
Yeah,
you know, once you put those three flames together, you just can't get enough.
That's right.
You just can't get enough.
We said it looked like a bonfire, but really it looked like a forest fire.
A forest fire. Yeah.
So someone is giving me some feedback that my mic is kind of low. I'm not sure. Give me a little more juice. So hopefully everyone else can hear me. If you're having a problem hearing me, just let us know. We will make the adjustments on our end. So we last week we didn't get a chance to read our emails because they weren't coming through. So this week we're definitely going to read our emails. We have our Riddle Me This. We have our panel discussion, which I cannot wait to get into. And we have two young men in studio with us. And then we have two young ladies who are going to call in later on in the show. And so anyone who wants to jump in on the conversation and call in, you know the number, 570-218-9699. So we're going to jump right in. I'm going to go straight into the riddle. 570-218-9699 if you think you know the riddle. So, want to make sure I'm reading it just right. And it says,
here we go with these riddles. Here we
riddle
go
me
with
this. Put your thinking caps on, everybody. What is higher without a head than with a head? Again, what is higher without a head than with a head? What is higher without a head than with a head?
Interesting. 570-218-9699.
Yep. If you think you know the answer, do not type it on Facebook, people. Pick up your phone and call us. We want to hear your voice. And don't Google it. Try to figure it out without Googling. Hey, Karen Denise Garner. Glad you can hear me. Thank you for joining us. Hey, Miss Deborah. Hi, Lexine.
Was that Deborah Cofer?
No.
Oh.
Deborah Barnes.
Hey, Deborah Barnes.
Thank you for typing in the riddle, Addie. What is higher without a head than with a head? If you think you know the answer, call in 570-218-9699. And while you guys are figuring that out, so there's a video on Facebook that circulated. Did we talk about this last week? I don't think we did.
No.
What were we talking about?
Which of the video we're talking about?
The one with the little boy that kicked the granny.
Oh. Yeah, we spoke about that last week.
We did? That thing is still bothering me, y'all.
Yeah.
It's still bothering me.
Did somebody kick you?
No.
Oh.
And I'm not well, I am a granny.
Oh, I was about to say, ooh.
I'm not a granny, I'm a Gigi.
Let me call candidate.
I'm not a granny, I'm a Gigi.
Yeah.
But that thing is still bothering me, that that little boy kicked the grandmother. Then he was coming back like he was going to kick her a second time. So she flung him. And then his mama came and wanted to fight the granny. It's still bothering me, babe. I'm sorry.
Okay, I'm going to pray for you.
I don't think we talked about that last week.
We
talked
spoke
about
about
school
it.
shootings last week. Talked about school. Did we talk about granny? The kid?
Girl, how old are you? I
It's-
told you you're 65.
It is still, that thing is still bothering me. So I'm sorry that I brought it up again, but it's, we have to do better, parents. We got to show up. You know, we got to show up. We have to do a better job of parenting our children, of teaching them right from wrong, of demonstrating and modeling right from wrong, so that they know how to behave. Because, yeah, it's really bad. So, no one knows the riddle. 570-218-9699.
I'm loving it. No one getting this riddle tonight.
Deborah said
Oh, Lord. No,
Wrong phone.
that's the wrong phone?
I thought that was somebody calling in.
Okay, let's go, babe.
So Deborah said, I did see that and I would have tore his legs up. Me too. Vanjie said, hey Vanjie, I'd beat the mother with the kid. And Karen is laughing at your response. Karen, don't laugh at him because he's not funny. He's trying to make me seem like I'm senile or something.
See now, you're seeing something else.
So we're going to go into our emails. These are 2 emails that we got from last week that we did not get a chance to read. So we're going to go ahead and read them this evening. So the first one says, last week you talked about getting married at a young age. While you said you are not for or against it, you seem to support it. Would you advise a young couple to get married? So I think this was 2 weeks ago. Oh, we have a caller.
Caller, you're on with the Smiths.
Hello.
Hi.
Hello. Who do we have the pleasure to speak with?
This is Atisha.
Hello, Miss Atty. Let me ask you, did you Google this?
No, I did not Google it.
Okay.
Okay.
Can you turn your radio down in the back? We're getting some feedback, Addie.
Oh, yeah. Okay, wait, let me turn my radio down. No, I did not Google it.
Okay, we appreciate you, honey.
I know the riddle because I heard it from my grandmother.
Okay, let me hear if Granny was correct.
Pillow.
Oh, it's a pillow! Yay!
I heard my grandmother said it. A pillow.
So
Okay.
a pillow is higher without the head on it, right? When you lay down, it presses the pillow down. Very good. Ding, 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 ding.
Thank you, Addie.
Thanks for calling in, Addie.
We appreciate you, girl.
All right, I'm listening.
Awesome.
Okay, thank you.
All right, so we have a new riddle winner this week. Awesome. We'll be celebrating you on our page tomorrow. So a few weeks ago, we talked about, I think we had a question about it. A parent wanted to know about advising her children on getting married at a young age. And at that time, we said, we are not for or against it, right? And I want to talk about that a little bit since this person asked about it. If, as a parent, you have set the right foundation for your child, meaning they understand what marriage should look like, they understand the role of the husband, they understand the role of the wife, and you have taught them various aspects of communicating with their spouse, of resolving conflict, and they come to you at age 19, 20, and they present someone to you. that they're interested in and they're thinking about getting married. I think as a parent, if you know that you have taught them the basics and they have that foundation, then you support them. Of course, you want to vet that person. You want to make sure the morals and the values and all of that are in line. I'm not saying that I would go out and, tell young people at 18, 19, 20 to get married. But if they come and they're presenting themselves in a mature way, and like I said, that foundation is there, I would not be so against it, because what happens is when we are so against it, normally they're going to rebel, and the more we are against it, the more they are pushed to doing their own thing anyway. What I believe we need to do is surround them with the right support system, make sure they're getting premarital counseling, and be that support for them. What's your take, babe? Because this person is saying it seems like we are for it, and would we advise a young couple to get married?
Listen, at the end of the day, everything is contingent on the couple's maturity level, because marriage is not for people who are playing games. Mm-hmm. Marriage is all about commitment. Marriage is all about, understanding the fundamentals of being committed to that person, is taking on a responsibility that oftentimes as a young person you're gonna have to give up some things. Mm-hmm. Take for example our daughter. Mm-hmm. Jaya got married at age, was it 20 or 21? 20. Mm-hmm. And so have a baby right after. So at that age, for most folks, they're out there, clubbing and doing their thing and stuff. But for our daughter, she was in the marital home, taking care of her child and all that stuff. So it's all about the maturity, because if you're not really ready for marriage from a mental perspective, it can really mess you up, and here you are married as a young person, and within months or sometime a year or two, you're out the door, because you still want to do what a young person would normally do, which is a clubbing, hanging out with your girls, your boys, whatever the case may be, and stuff like that. And those components, we have to do paradigm shift. Mm-hmm. when it comes on to marriage.
Yeah. And and just to add to that, one of the things that we do, because our daughter is so young, and is married, and is a wife, and is finishing up her degree, we really try to support her. Now, she lives 3 hours away, mm-hmm. but when she wants to come up and say, Mom, I'm coming up, and so-and-so is having a birthday party, and I want to go, we don't have a problem with saying, okay, you know what, come up, we got Kennedy, enjoy mm-hmm. yourself, because mm-hmm. as a young person, she needs that.
She needs the outlets.
Mm-hmm. And so, would we advise a young person to get married? It depends on the circumstances. Mm-hmm. It depends on the maturity level of mm-hmm. that young person. It depends on the foundation that has been set for that young person.
Absolutely.
In order for them to make that decision. So you can definitely type into the Facebook area what you think about this topic. Doreen, absolutely, maturity level is very important. And you can tell if your child is ready or not. Ophelia, yes, marriage is constant growth. You never arrive mm-hmm, mm-hmm. and are ready, because you're always growing, you're always learning, things mm-hmm. are always changing. Mm-hmm. So that is a great point. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And it is a sacrifice. There are some things that you're going to have to give up, some selfish ways, Mm-hmm. At 19, the world is still about you. It revolves around you. And, if you decide to get married now, the world doesn't revolve around you anymore. Right, right. There's a spouse in the picture. So, very, very true. And then Karen Denise Garner says, I agree if they have a strong foundation and are on the same page. Marriage, however, involves giving of yourself, which comes with maturity. Definitely. And I think the two people can grow together. Mm-hmm. They can definitely grow together if they make that commitment. Mm-hmm. So we're going to read the second email. And this is, we're going to give a very surface answer to this, because we're going to be doing a whole series on blended families.
Oh, Lord.
Oh, Lord is right. So it says, my stepson and I do not get along. I think his mother babies him way too much. How can we overcome this obstacle? So that's a whole show in and of itself, right? And we can give you a very surface answer to this question, but really in order to give you a detailed answer, we would need to know more information. How old is your son? Why aren't you guys getting along? What are the dynamics in the home? You know, we need some of those details in order to really.
And what is being done? Why you think that she babies him? You know, what is your definition of baby?
Right.
You know, and so you know, we have to talk about those dynamics first before we can even give an answer to it.
Yeah. And so on surface, I would say have a conversation with your wife. You know, sit her down and talk to her about what you're observing in terms of this babying thing that you're talking about. Maybe you guys can come up with some different ways of disciplining or, you know, the child. And then again, how long have you been married? Because if you're newly married, you don't really want to come inserting, you know, different discipline methods and all of that. That's not going to help your relationship with the stepson. So again, we would really need a lot more information. We would say communicate with your spouse. Let her know how you're feeling, and then you two work out those dynamics together.
And remember, you know, I'm going to say this without even getting too deep into it, because as my wife stated, we are going to do a series on blended family, and so I can't get too deep. But, you know, as a step parent, your job is to build relationship. Nothing else, to build relationship. If you want to discipline that child, you have to discipline that child through the biological parent. You know, rules and regulations without relationships leads to rebellion. I'm going to say that again. Rules and regulation without relationship leads to rebellion. And so you know, if you're not building relationship with that child, but you're coming down with the regimental rules and stuff, that child by way of default will rebel.
Right.
You know, and so I'm going to stop right there, because, you know, I don't want to get into our series that is coming up.
Yeah. So this is definitely a topic that we will cover in much more detail at a later time. But thank you for sending in your question, and we will also respond to you via email. And if you want to give us more details at that time, we can definitely dialogue in that way. So we're going to take our top of the hour break. DJ Ray is gonna play some music for your
Ray Goodman and Brown. Gotta say that.
Gonna play some music for your listening enjoyment, and then we'll be right back. Don't go anywhere. We're gonna come back with our discussion on dating. We want to hear from you. What's your definition of dating? What did dating look like when you were dating? And then we're gonna get our panel to join us. So we'll be right back. Stay with us.
What's the sense in sharing this one and only life? Ending up just another lost and lonely wife. You count up the years and they will be filled with tears.
What's the word? How are you going to say it? Yeah, rules before religion. I mean, that even falls to biological.
You won't have your man.
They don't understand the relationship with the child. They can see with somebody that's Martin Gordon. Funny, I never thought about this. Trouble and strife, remind
I'm commenting as Mr. Smith. How can I do that?
You're listening to Meet the Smiths on Clear.fm.
And we're back, we're back,
Yes.
we're back. I saw on Facebook Live, baby, some people are saying you're not grown folks if you don't know the words for this
Listen,
song. I
that
guess I'm
is-
not grown because I certainly
That
don't
is
know.
Definitely
The words for
grown
this
folks
song.
music for
Mm,
sure.
mm,
Love it, love it, love
Who
it.
sings that song?
Candy Steak.
Oh, see somebody look. Deborah Barnes knew it. Candy, yep. Yes, Deborah, that's exactly who sang it. And you just heard that on the #1 station for today's hits and throwbacks,
One.
Clear.fm.
Yeah, that's right, the
The-
clear
The
choice.
clear choice. So we're back. We're going to talk about dating.
Mm.
And so that song talked about young hearts,
Mm.
run free.
Mm.
There is nothing like being young and that feeling of,
Mm-hmm.
love, and you can't wait to be with that person or see that person or talk to that person. But you know what's even better? That mature love.
Yeah.
That mature love.
Yeah.
But I remember being young. I remember being 15.
I remember you being young. I remember you being young.
You don't gotta say it like that,
Yeah,
man.
I remember you being young.
So for those of you who don't know, Ed and I have actually known each other. Ed has known me since I was about 12 or 13 years old.
Yeah.
So we've known each other for a really, really long time. And, I remember my very first boyfriend, just thought I was in love. Thought he was just going to be it, the one. Defied my parents, argued with my parents, snuck out, everything.
Snuck in, everything.
Snuck out, snuck in. But we thought back then that this was it, and we didn't really date. We didn't date because my parents would not let me date. So it's not like he can come to the house and take me
You
out.
just had that dough love.
We just snuck around. And so today we're really excited. We wanted to get some young people involved in this relationship conversation. And so we have with us two young men. I'm gonna let them both introduce themselves, but and then we have some young women who will be calling in later on.
Right.
But I wanted to just read, someone said dating. I haven't dated in how many?
Like 35 years.
Ophelia said, I haven't dated in 35 plus years. But the best thing about dating for me was getting to know the real person, not the representative that you first meet.
Right.
Somebody else said they feel sorry. Karen said, I feel sorry for young dating. It has changed a lot. And to those of you who follow our page, Meet the Smiths on Clear.fm, I actually shared a video today that popped up on my timeline, and it had dating then versus dating now. And so it had a couple scenarios. The first one, they bumped into each other and met like at a grocery store, and they both grabbed the same apple. And it showed how back in the day, the guy would let her have the apple, and that started a conversation. Well, today, the guy would just grab the apple and just bounce.
Just bounce.
Then it showed coming to pick you up for a date. And back in the day, he would come, ring the doorbell. He's dressed nicely. He has flowers. He comes to pick up the girl.
Open
Today,
the car door for you and all
right,
that stuff.
Today, he pulls up, music is bumping, and he texts her, I'm outside. And she goes out to meet him. And we were laughing. I was laughing watching it, but I remember when Jaya was younger, one of the things that we told her, nobody is gonna pull out our door and beat the horn for you. Like, that's not gonna happen. If somebody wants to take you out, he needs to get out of the car, come to the door, ring the bell, meet your parents. That's the appropriate way, but things have changed a lot. So we're gonna.
And if I don't like him, she ain't going.
And right, and if we don't like him, you're not going nowhere. So we made it tough for her, didn't we?
Yeah, we did.
But I'm glad we did. So, you know, I would like to introduce our two young panelists. Who wants to go first?
I guess I'll go first. All right. My name is Quincy Palmer. I'm a junior at East Stroudsburg University, and Nas told me to come here, and now I'm being interviewed.
What's your major?
Major is exercise science.
Oh, awesome.
All right, yeah, but I'm excited.
Nice.
This is a
Well,
good
Quincy,
conversation. Good time.
yes, we are excited to have you in studio and just to get the conversation going.
Yeah.
Awesome. Next.
My name is Caleb Dua. I'm a sophomore at ESU. My major is exercise science, and I'm also a motivational speaker.
Oh.
So, yeah, I like chatting. So
Okay.
I'm glad to be here. It's an honor.
Awesome. Well, thank you. We are
Awesome.
so happy to have you. And so,
Either of you have a girlfriend?
Yes.
Yes.
we both
Okay.
do.
you know that was going to be my next question.
Oh.
Girlfriend.
All right now.
Okay, so you both have girlfriends, which means that you've done some type of dating.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, how long have you been with your girlfriend, Quincy?
Since September.
Okay.
Okay.
So, fairly new relationship.
New kid on the block.
Fairly.
Yeah.
Nice. And what about you, Caleb?
About a year and a half.
Okay.
Okay.
Do both of your girlfriends attend ESU?
Mm.
No.
No. Oh. So, that, that's actually a pretty good point. Pretty good question. Do you think it's easier to have a girlfriend that's not on campus or to have a girlfriend that's attending the same university as you?
I don't know if I ever thought of what's easier. You know what I mean? Like, all right, so my girlfriend, she lives in Mooresville. So that's, out towards Philadelphia. So it's distance. But I don't know. I never really thought about it. I just never met anybody or clicked with anybody on campus,
Okay.
So let me ask you, since your love is just yesterday, so do you and your girlfriend stays on the phone all night long and you want to fall asleep, but you play the game? Are you sleeping? No, I'm not.
Definitely.
Are you sleeping? And you stayed on your phone all night long talking about nothing.
All right, you know what? Let me explain all of it.
All right.
This is, it's funny how this works. Like, I did meet her here on campus about a year ago,
Okay.
or like October 2016. Ran into her at a Halloween party. And see, this is another thing. We're going to get into this too about men approaching women
Right.
and how that's changed. But
Right.
I would say, I'm pretty sure this is the first woman I ever approached in person. Like, it wasn't like a later. We'll talk about how you hit them up later. You find them on social anyway.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
I can't wait.
Anyway, yeah, so, I approached her and, got to know her, and then, we exchanged numbers or whatever, and then after that, I hadn't seen her up until, almost a year later.
Mm-hmm.
But we had talked on and off and, different things, There was distance. Like, I live in York, PA, so she's out towards Philly. I'm out, 2 hours away.
Okay.
Okay.
So, I didn't get to see her, but, we kept in touch, and then we ended up talking, again and picking back up, and, she came up to ESU, and, we hung out, and I just went and seen her every weekend after that.
Wow. Awesome. I love it. So we're going to come back to a couple of things that you
Yes.
said.
Yeah.
Caleb, how did you meet your young lady?
So it was about 2 years ago, and I went to a convention in New Jersey. That's where she lives. And it was a church convention. So we have this huge church. It's a national.
Church boy.
Yeah. So it's a national convention. It was a regional one. So it was New Jersey region. And I just happened to bump into her. And we just clicked from there. The other story with that is I actually found her on Instagram first, and then when we met in person, that's when we actually clicked. And honestly, I feel like it was just God who guided me to her. And if I talk about my high school days, I mean, we'll be here forever. But high school, I was kind of like a player, right? So I wasn't necessarily the best kind of guy in high school. So coming out of high school, it was like I wanted to start new. So I kind of had to like find myself first before. And the funny thing is, like, I didn't really go searching for her. She kind of just came to me.
Wow, nice. So you said that you met her on Instagram first. This is before the convention?
Yes.
Wow. So you guys connected on Instagram, following each other, liking pictures, all of that stuff. Any DM chatting?
A little bit.
Okay.
For me personally, I don't really spend too much time in there.
That's good. That's good.
Yeah. So.
Question to and both of you can answer when I ask the question. Either of you ever had a girl chasing you? They see you, they like you, and they just chase you. How do you feel about that?
I don't know. See, personally, I don't feel like I got juice like that. All my friends feel like I got the juice. But I don't know. I've had different. See, I've had a few approach me in person. On social media, get a few DM slides. My DMs have been breached before. And I mean, it is different when a girl does approach you, you know, but...
Expound on that difference. How is it different?
Well, I mean, usually, at least the traditional way, even in our era, millennial era, you know, sliding in the DMs era.
Sliding in the DM.
Anyway, you know, usually it's the guy that shoots their shot first. There's another term you guys want to learn terms. We got you.
Shoot your shot.
Right. So, but no, I don't know. It's nice, especially just because you might not have been looking at that person. It's a lot of times people that have messaged me off the bat, I've never seen them before, you know, so it's not like I was like, oh, okay, you know, like, all right, I've been looking out, but I can't really explain the difference. Like I said, it's just, usually it's the guy that's shooting the shot, and I don't know if I take it a certain way, you know, now that I think about it, like, usually, I mean, I've learned at this age at least, because girls can be fast.
Well,
usually the ones that approach you first, probably the fast ones. Usually. Not all the time, though. I'm not going to put everybody down like that.
I got you.
Yeah, so I mean, I agree with what Quincy is saying. For me, it's kind of awkward though, because like he said, it's not really traditional. You know, usually the guy shoots a shot or slides in the DM, and that's the way it's always been. And you just kind of follow that routine, that structure. So then when a girl does it, it's kind of like it's awkward.
Yeah.
And I could say the same for marriage. You see females, you know, proposing these days.
Oh yeah. You see that on Twitter, pictures of that video.
But usually, like, the norm is a guy usually does it.
Right.
You know,
Right.
So.
And you know, and I ask you that question for a reason, and you may never thought about it before, but I bet you when I'm finished, you're gonna be thinking about it. God made men to work for what they want, right? And the more you work for it, is the more you appreciate it. Whenever, in truth and in fact, guys don't like when girls approach you. You understand me? Because we never see it as work, right? We see it, okay, this is easy.
They're not,
and so because we see it as easy, you know, oftentimes some of us, you know, will go in for the kill, right? And the moment you get a couple kills, then you ease out.
Yeah.
A girl who chases after a man, sometimes that girl may get the man, because sometimes you have some guys that are bashful, and the only way of getting a girl is when a girl chases after them. So some guys will get a girl in that format, but in general terms, guys don't like to be chased. You understand me? Because we don't see it as work, and because we don't see it as work, we never value her, because we never worked for her, and eventually, you know, the moment we get what we desire, we bounce. And for those of us who stays with her because she did the chasing, for the rest of our lives, she will be chasing us.
No, I agree.
Yeah.
I've noticed that phenomenon.
Yes, sir. Yes,
I've
sir.
noticed it.
Yes, sir.
So, traditionally, back in the day, when dating, if you want to date someone exclusively, the young man would usually approach her parents. And actually, we have told our son, he's 14, that, you know, it's okay for him to have friends. He can go out in a group. But when he wants to do that one-on-one exclusive dating, first of all, he has to ask us if he can. We need to know about the young lady. We need to know what her values are. But the next thing that he has to do is he has to approach her parents to make sure it's okay for him to date their daughter on a one-on-one exclusive basis. If he does not get their permission or our permission, he can't. But today, it's so different. You know, most parents are not even involved in their child's dating process, and you're both shaking your heads. What did you learn from your parents, if anything, about dating, about approaching a young lady, about, you know, what's acceptable and what's not acceptable?
I don't know if I was ever told anything. Like, I might have made observances, or observations. Observances, I made up a word. Okay.
That's okay.
That's okay.
We make up words.
We got you, though. We got you, though. We got you.
I always catch myself, but observations. No, like, I was never, I'm trying to think even, I don't know. It's always been solo, and I think we've come up, you know, because me and Kelly are about the same age, at the time where, when I got my first cell phone, you know, like, you know, texting was a thing. Like, social media wasn't a thing. Like, I came into that and saw that happen. But, yeah, like, you can do all this without meeting in person. And, I mean, you could even test the person out and quote-unquote date, because we have this thing called talking now.
Right.
The whole process, oh, my gosh, that gets me so angry. Just the way people have different definitions of it.
Right.
Yeah, like, you can have your whole trial and error with somebody all on alone, all, you know, in your phone, and talk to them, see how the conversation goes, test their values, test whatever. And from there, you can dismiss it without even having to see them waste your time.
Wow. So is that considered talking?
Yeah, that's usually what it is. But a lot of people I feel like people confuse talking with dating, because I feel talking is there's a mutual interest, you know what I mean, and we're getting to know each other. But the moment that you leave the phone and y'all go out somewhere, that's dating. You went on a date. You were dating that person.
Right.
People call that talking still. Well, I'm talking to them, but you guys hooked up and you guys are going, you know, you guys go out or you're with each other all the time. But it's not a relationship.
So I heard a couple different terminologies in there. I want to make sure we have it right. So there's talking, there's dating,
and then there's a relationship. That's how I see it.
Is there also, is hooking up also, because I've heard like a girl say, oh, we're not dating, we just hooked up. Yeah. So is that also like a phase in the process?
It's not a phase.
Or is that just a random?
If you're a hookup, you're probably, I can't read lips now.
It's a situationship.
It's a situation.
Oh, it's a situationship. It's a situationship. Right.
It might not progress any further off of that. You know, probably could even end up on good terms, but you know, it's never. You guys both knew it wasn't happening.
Right. You will never be the one to take home to mama.
Right. It's just we're gonna leave it at what it is. We get along, but it's you know, like the three flames that you're talking about. One of the flames ain't there.
Come on, brother.
Gotcha.
Come on. I love it.
Gotcha.
I love it.
So Caleb, what about you? Do you think? Did your parents have a conversation with you about dating and?
So my parents, they're traditionally African, so they stick to their African culture.
Okay.
They never really talked about dating or relationships, and I have an older sister. She's 21 now, and she's getting close to that time where my parents are gonna want her out of the house. You know, she's a senior now. She's gonna be graduating, and my parents are gonna be wanting her out of the house soon. So she's had talks with my mom and stuff like that. And my mom just simply puts it like, just make sure that this person has good intentions, good morals, and when you find that person, then I want to meet her. And so just bouncing off of what Quincy said, though, it made me think of like online dating now is, you know, it's huge now. Back like from your generation, it wasn't even there. But now we have things like, I know, what is it, Tinder and all that kind of stuff. Black people meet or
Wait, why do you know all the
commercials?
There are commercials. It's just funny because those things are not even relevant. Like, you don't need a whole eHarmony. That's more of, I guess, for people right outside of our generation.
Yeah.
You know, just like, you know, like they're still savvy with, like, you know what I mean? They're savvy with the internet, but it's not the same way because we can get exactly what eHarmony or Black People Meets done on Twitter, you know, or on Instagram. Like I said, a couple likes, you shoot your shot, and you know what I mean. You can talk.
So
shoot your shot, babe. You better, when we go home, you better shoot your shot, and you better slide over in my DM. Okay?
That even sound right. That don't even sound right. So one of the problems that I have with people that are dating from your era, you know, and I know the social media and the cell phone and all that stuff is a big thing, and you guys could have and this is what I've noticed, that you guys could have a full-blown conversation via text and all that stuff, but the moment you go out to dinner or to lunch and stuff, sitting across from each other, it's like cricket. Cricket.
And that's not the one.
But you're in the phone though, you're not doing stuff, and the person is sitting right across from you that you claim you want to spend the rest of your life with. Why is that?
That's not the one.
Yeah.
That's not the one.
And we know that. We know that that's
you're on. Are you reading the same book that I'm reading?
I don't know. Like, I do a lot of thinking. You know, I'm obsessed life.
You are perfectly right, man. Whenever you are the one, you know, and for ladies that are listening, I'm telling you, I'm speaking from a male perspective. Whenever you are the one, there is absolutely nothing that men will not do for you.
Yeah, like if I put my phone down and forget about it, and like, yeah,
and get lost in her,
yeah, like
you the one.
Once I don't know where my phone is at,
right?
You know, it's that type. It's like, it's not even, you guys said before you went to that retreat, you know, make sure, you know, we're gonna leave the phone in the car. It's not even a plan. All of a sudden, I lost track of my phone.
Right,
wow.
Right.
Wow.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, so our listeners are loving you too, by the way. They are just like very impressed with you guys.
Thank you.
Here, hi Mike. Vanjie said Mike said hi. Hi Mike.
Hey Mike.
What up,
No,
Mike?
my name Big Mike. What up?
Big Mike. So Mike is 12 years old.
Okay, Mike.
And he watches our show with his mom, and then he reminds her of certain things. So we did one show where we talked about, you know, communication and looking at the person and engaging. Right. And so they went to the store, and she was reading a card, and he's talking to her, and she's reading the card, and he was like, "Mom, remember what the Smith said? Like, you got to put that down and look at me." So we like to give him his shout out and just thank him for watching and for listening. Let's see. I want to read some of these comments here for you. So Addie says she remembers going to Coney Island and Sunrise Movie Theater. That's where her and her hubby used to go on dates. Ayana says, "Hey, Quincy and Caleb."
What's
up? Let's see who else. Someone said they feel sorry for young dating. And Addie says, yes, and talking for almost the whole night, falling asleep on the phone, carefree, butterflies all over.
Yeah.
No more. Yeah, Doreen says, no more going to eat ice cream or going home after a kiss on the cheek. You know, and I want to pause here because, like you said, so much of this dating or the precursor to dating takes place via social media. So you're not really going out to the movies and then dropping her home with a kiss on the cheek and see you tomorrow.
Yeah, like you're not getting to know the person in person. You're not in you're not in each other's physical space getting to know them.
Right.
You know, like I don't mind that. I'll talk, you know, and honestly, I guess, you know what? I guess other guys don't be talking to these girls. I don't know what it is, because any girl that I've, talked to in the past is surprised at our whole conversation. So
Yeah.
I can't speak for other men.
Wow.
Like, we're going to have to get these regular dudes out here and see what they're on.
Yeah.
But, I talk to my women, it's like I talk to people in general.
And a lot of times these young ladies just oftentimes deal with dudes that just have one ulterior motive.
Oh yeah, you got your what were you saying at the very I don't even think the show started. You said there's men of action.
Yeah. A and B. You got A and B, man.
Yeah, A and B.
Right.
And a lot of the B guys.
Right.
Ones.
Yeah,
And,
exactly.
and the women get their impression of the B guy.
Right.
And it ruins it for the A guy.
You ruins it for the A guy.
It's
so there's a lot of dynamics that comes with it, and so whenever these young ladies meet a guy like you guys know that really having a conversation, they're looking at you like,
yeah,
who are you? What planet are you from?
Right.
Because it's not customary for them to have that conversation, and so
I'm sorry.
It has to happen.
Marilyn McNeil said, yes, I want to be their age so I can meet them. Marilyn? not that type of party.
Yeah, you might have to have a bachelor type show.
Listen, you know what? We have been kicking around the idea of doing like a singles mixer,
I mean,
and just showing people the art of dating again. It's so important because, like Ophelia says, she says, I can't feel your emotion from a text. Whereas when we're in person, I can feel you out a little better, and there's so much catfishing, and somebody else said that there's so much catfishing.
Wow, that's another
you
thing.
don't know who you're speaking to on the other side of that DM, or if the picture that they're using is really who they are.
Like 25 years ago.
Right. Just like that show Catfish. We used to watch that on MTV, and it was like, yo, look at who. It's crazy. It's a little scary out here.
It is. Like, I've met, people that I met online first, never seen them in person, and then, we've gotten to know each other to the point where, you can, it's cool. It can be nice. Like when these people, when everybody is truthful with them, you know what I mean, who they are, getting to know them and then meeting them, and it's none of that. There's a little bit of awkwardness getting, just that physical comfort, being around each other, but you guys can pick up on conversation. There's no, what do I talk about? You can jump, right into it and have a good time.
Yeah.
And another question that I need to ask before we get into our little break is that, well, the problem that I've seen really is that, in all honesty, is that, so many females have lowered their standards.
Yeah.
To accommodate a man, because, let's say the three, you have your girlfriend and stuff, and but your girlfriend friend, don't have a boyfriend, but she has standard. Well, and let's put that in categories. But then now she want to be booed up, just like everybody else. So now she start to, compromise standards.
Yeah.
You understand me? To deal with dude, and before you know it, 2 weeks in, 3 weeks in, they sleeping with each other and all that stuff. And I can guarantee you, eventually, that dude is going to walk away because, like as you said, you are not the one. Men only behave towards a woman when they know that you are the one. As a matter of fact, that man won't even have a desire to want to sleep with you right now when he knows that you're the one, because he want to keep you, he want to protect you. You're like that diamond or that jewel. He's looking at. He just want to look at you. Just and so stop being fast. Take it slow. Take it slow. Get to know the person. Get connected with the emotions. Get connected with the value. Get connected with the principles before you start to doing other things.
Funny that you mentioned that. I was watching a video on Twitter. There's this guy that I follow, calls himself Dr. Durag, and he always just gives like life advice and things like that. And one of them was, why do men hit it and quit it? You know, quote unquote, why, you know what I mean? Why are you guys only a thing for a couple of days or, you know, a couple of weeks, like you said, and then it falls off. He doesn't, you know, you don't hear from him. And he made the greatest analogy. He said, if you went to a restaurant with bad food or bad service, are you going back to eat? You know what I mean? And like women are want to call men dogs, but are you coming here and having more to offer? Because it would be better if people left the physical stuff aside and, you know, connected personally first. But we're human. It doesn't happen that way. Not all the time. And it doesn't matter what generation you're in. It's always, there's fast things. But it is possible to actually get to know that person and that person making a real genuine connection with them, even if you guys started out fast, you know? So he described it. He was like, if you go to a restaurant or a store, bad food, bad service, why would you want to go back?
Wow.
You know, the unfortunate thing is that everybody wants to be loved, you know, and there's nothing wrong in wanting to be loved, but having that desire at the wrong time, you understand me, can kill you. The Bible says, do not wake love before it's time. You know, and like I've always said, the right attention from the wrong person in a lonely situation will lead you to think that they are the one.
Yeah. And self-esteem has so much to do with it. You know, and you know, working at the university, I see some of my young ladies that come in to speak to me, and I can see the lack of self-esteem, the lack of confidence. And so when you don't know your true worth or your true value, you will settle for anything. You will, any type of attention, you will run to it. You know, there is this desperation that no one has paid attention to me. So, you know, I love, Caleb, that you talked about how you were in high school and that you wanted something different when you came to college. And there are some young ladies who maybe in high school, nobody noticed her. You know, nobody asked her out, nobody noticed her. And then she came to college and she's like, listen, I want a fresh start. So they call it the glow up. Maybe she glowed up, you know, that summer. And now here she is, and she's getting some attention, and she is just spreading herself everywhere. You know, everyone who shows her attention, they can get a piece. And I wish I can reach these young women especially and just say to them, you don't have to do that to be accepted. You don't have to do that to get attention.
A lot of people let others dictate their self-worth. And you don't have to. You're in complete control of that. You know, at the same time, if people are noticing you, getting lonely is a thing. You know, we're social creatures, so we want companionship in any way we can get it. So we can't help that feeling, and it's a lot easier said than done to say fight it, be patient. But I feel, women especially, which, you know, most anybody that I try. I've been motivational speaking with Caleb, so I definitely I have that ability to kind of give somebody a good pickup conversation, as in, you know, I just see a lot of girls that do let other people dictate their self-worth. A bad relationship dictates their self-worth. Feel like they've been used, dictates their self-worth. And when you come back and say the bad service, like that bad service analogy, you could take it that way. Oh, you know, I wasn't good enough for that person. But at the same time, I don't like cheeseburgers. He might like cheeseburgers. So somebody's going to go to McDonald's. You know? You know what I mean? So, like, just because I don't like the burger doesn't mean that you're a bad burger. Like, you feel me? So
exactly.
Interesting point.
With that being said,
can I ask them this question and
sure.
then we'll take a break? Because I think you guys touched on it, but maybe she didn't hear. Do you guys feel that you have received a proper representation of love, marriage, or a healthy relationship from your parents or other influences? Have you ever had to go against their advice?
There, as in your parents?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, from my parents, I learned a lot from them. They haven't really talked much. It's more about action. And based on what I've seen them do and how they act with their marriage and their relationship, I've learned what to do and what not to do. I can say the same, not just for a relationship, but just with life in general. And I think they've pretty much laid that foundation for me in terms of commitment, sacrifice. And I see my dad you know, go through it all the time. He still sacrifices. Before I was even born, you know, I've seen him sacrifice so much, and I see the commitment that he has, and so I've learned a lot from that. And so what I usually tell people is when love is your foundation, commitment comes out of that, sacrifice comes out of that.
Come on.
Loyalty.
Come on, brother.
You know, discipline, all these things. Like when you have love as a foundation, all those things come out of that. All those things are like branches.
You build from the foundation.
Awesome. So do you ever go to your parents for relationship advice? Have they met your girlfriend?
They have not yet.
Okay.
In about 3 months they will.
Okay.
Yeah. Sometimes I'll go to my mom. She's just easier to talk to about this kind of stuff. My dad, he's old. Sometimes
I'm telling.
Sometimes he won't really know what he's talking about, but I do learn a lot from him, and I resemble some of his characteristics. But I definitely talk to my mom a lot about you know, just even before I met my girlfriend, just about finding the right person. I talked to her about how her and my dad came to meet, and I just remember them talking about how they used to go to all these places traveling. They, you know, I've seen pictures of them. They were so happy, and I showed it to my mom last week, and I said, "Mom, you guys are so happy. What happened?" Like, you know, the happiness is still there, but like they used to do all these traveling. They used to go to conventions and, you know, Oklahoma and Arizona, all this kind of stuff. And then she's like, "We had to stop before you guys were born." And I was like, "Wow." So they definitely, I believe they definitely knew what they were doing, and you know, I trust them and their advice.
Love it. Love it. Awesome. Same question for you.
Like, I don't know if I've ever gotten advice, but off of observation, you know, I've learned. And like, I remember when when I first kind of got it put in perspective, just what love was in general, and even what it meant to be a man. It was after a track meet when I was a senior in high school. My grandparents, they go away to Florida over the winter, and they get back in the spring, March, April. So they had just gotten back, went to my track meet. I didn't get to say hi to them, but I went and stopped at their house afterwards. And my grandmother was cooking dinner.
Yeah, we have a caller.
Oh. We have a caller in the air.
Hey, Miss Debbie.
Hi. Hello. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. So have you been listening to our young men?
I have not. I cannot hear. I don't have radio.
Oh, poor thing. So we're actually just in the middle of a conversation about where did you learn about relationships or dating? You know, did you learn from your parents? Do you get dating advice from your parents?
Yeah, mostly my parents and probably my sisters. So I'm the youngest of 6 sisters. So a lot of their trials and errors have been my saving grace.
So they tell you some of the mistakes they've made so you don't make them.
Definitely.
Okay. And so do you date, like physically go out and date, or do you find that you're doing most of your connecting via social media?
No, I date.
Nice. So young men come and take you out?
Yeah. I don't really do social media things. That's kind of weird and creepy to me, kind of. But I see why it's a big thing.
Okay. And how old are you, Samira?
I'm 21.
Okay, so 21. So about the same age as our young men. So you prefer the in-person. You prefer, you know, to be picked up and taken out, not so much the DMs and the social media.
Yeah, like if it starts on social media, like you DM me first and it's like, hey, how are you, da-da-da-da, and then we go on a date. I don't want like all our interactions to be on social media.
Got you, got you. Awesome. You know, we're having so much fun here in the studio just talking about dating and what it looks like and how it's changed, and it's really refreshing to have young people who understand the value of that in-person interaction, because we're losing so much of that. So we really appreciate that. And you're comfortable going to your parents and your sisters for dating advice?
Definitely. Even if they tell me regardless, so it doesn't matter.
So whether you ask for it or not, they're going to tell you.
Definitely.
Do you currently have a boyfriend?
No.
Okay. Interesting. Yeah, we're thinking about doing a little singles
You always want to hook somebody
mixer,
up.
hooking up a little something. So we'll keep you posted.
Okay.
All right. Well, thank you so much for calling in. If you want to listen to the rest of the show and you have internet, clear.fm, you can hear us live, okay? Okay, I think we lost her. Awesome. I want you to finish your thought, and then we're going to go take our break.
Yeah, so I had, after the track meet, stopped into my grandparents. My grandmother was cooking dinner. She made, like, some spaghetti with, like, chicken, something that she makes. And she had only made enough for them. They weren't expecting me to drop by. I came in, unannounced. But, so she had made enough chicken, for my grandfather and herself. They had some leftover pasta and some sauce. So she gave me a plate of that. And I sat at the table, and, my grandfather, asked, like, where my chicken was. And, my grandma was like, there wasn't enough. And he gave me the food from his plate. Like, gave him, the chicken from his plate. And I didn't think about it until, like, later, maybe a day or so later. But, like, it actually moved me to tears thinking about it. Just kind of overall what that meant. As far as it's symbolically, whether it's love for your children or, whoever you're in a relationship with. If you're willing to sacrifice, see somebody eat, if you're willing to go without, you guys mentioned the word sacrifice. So if you're willing to go without, make a certain compromise, which there's a difference between, compromising and compromising yourself too much, which that is a problem, giving too much of yourself. But yeah, like that alone, it did spark a lot of thought, with me as far as just what it meant. If I'm willing to sacrifice something, to see somebody else's happiness or whatever, or somebody else's comfort, that's when you're feeling something.
Yeah.
If you're willing to do that.
Wow, what a profound thought. Yeah, love it. So listen, we're going to be right back. We're going to listen to some music. We're going to read some of your comments. If you
Press play on YouTube first. Press play on YouTube first. And we are back. What day is it? It is
Tuesday.
Tuesday, and we are back. We are back. We are back. It's about to be on and popping, as the young folks would say.
Yeah, we got.
As Ray would say, it's litty. Listen, guys. Now, welcome back. Over to my right is none other than the queen herself, Debbie Petra Smith.
That's me.
And over to her left is her king.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, King Edward James Smith III.
That's him.
And together we are Meet the Smiths. We are certified marital, premarital counselors. We are Amazon best-selling authors. Stop. Recipient of the Monroe County Image Award for written expression.
Mm-hmm.
And listen, we're here on no other radio station than Clear.fm, the Clear Choice.
The Clear Choice.
Talking about relationship, we love to talk about relationship. And tonight we're going to look at, dating now versus dating then.
Mm-hmm.
The millennial dating.
Yes.
What does that look like? Interesting. So we're going to unpack some stuff, the panel, the folks that are on the panel is a lot of men, so, there's a lot of testosterone inside here today.
Yes,
we're going to unpack some stuff.
Yes, we're excited about this evening's show. We're talking to millennials, some Generation Zs. Are you guys Generation Zs? I don't even know. I think I was X, so you guys should be Zs. But yeah, we're going to look at dating, how dating used to look, how it looks now, but we really want to talk about how it looks for our young people. So, we're going to ask some questions, we're going to have some fun, we're going to learn some new terminologies, we're going to learn what's going on with the younger generation, and it's going to be a lot of fun. So, we're happy to have you guys. We can see you guys jumping on and joining in. Addie, Doreen, Rob, thank you guys so much for watching and for sharing. Doreen, we see you, girl. What's up? Addie.
Doreen.
Hi, Doreen. Hi, King and Queen. Glad to have you guys joining us. Make sure you're sharing, letting your friends and family know that the Smiths are on. So, we like to start with, how was your weekend? Our weekend was great. We had a great weekend.
Yep.
You want to tell them what we did, babe, or you want me to tell them what we
You
did?
could do. We were living la vida loca.
Living la vida loca. So we unplugged from the world this weekend. We haven't done that in a while, so it was good. We unplugged. We got away. We were in Harrisburg for a marriage retreat. We were with over another 120, 130 couples. And we went to a marriage retreat. I checked in with the kids twice for the weekend, once on Friday evening, once on Saturday afternoon. The rest of the time, the phone was off, no Facebook, and it was good just to reconnect. So, to our married couples out there, please invest in your marriage. Take some time out every once in a while and just get away, unplug from everything and reconnect to your spouse.
Funny enough, we didn't even miss the phone, right?
Oh no, I certainly did not miss it. We made a promise to ourselves in the car. We weren't going to take our phones into the session, so we weren't scrolling.
No, she made a promise, and then she put me in the headlock and said, "You're going to hold fast to that promise."
Yes, so we left our phones in the hotel room because he's our intern for our show.
Right.
We are really excited to have him on board. He's going to be helping us with our social media, and so he came into my office to have his resume reviewed. I'm looking at his resume and I'm like, oh, this is what you're interested in? Went through the whole session, and then at the end I said to him, my husband and I have a radio show, this is what we do, and then I gave him some homework. I asked him if he had ever heard of the Force MDs. He was like, no. So I gave him homework, and then he came in the Monday, and he was like, I'm interested in the internship. And I looked up the Force MDs and he started singing some of their songs. So because he did his homework and, you know, he came back and he was so excited, I was like, well, definitely the internship is yours. So we're really happy to have you. And he decided to, you know, come on the other side of the camera. So tell our listeners a little bit about you.
Okay, well, I'm Nasir Cooper. I'm a junior at East Stroudsburg University, majoring in business management, concentration in entrepreneurship. Yeah, I do a lot of other stuff outside of school. So.
Nice. And you have a girlfriend as well, correct?
Yeah, I do. We're going on 4 years.
What? What?
So, talking about that that's that high school love.
Dedication stuff, right? Yeah.
For sure. That's why I was listening. I was like, I don't know about that. That's kind of different. Like, me and my girlfriend, of course we were texting and stuff, but I met her in class. You know, I actually knew her a year before we started dating, but we never really talked. Like, we were in the same class. I didn't think nothing of her. So then one day I just was looking across the room and I was like, oh my God, she's cute. I kind of like her. And I didn't really say anything. I would just kind of look at her and admire her in a way. And it just made me happy. Like, I enjoy coming to class, looking at her, you know.
That classroom crush.
Yeah.
Oh.
See how that crazy? When a woman have that impact on a man, it is priceless.
Yeah, for sure.
You know?
Yeah.
You just looked at her, man.
And it
And
just
it was
made him
alright.
happy.
Yeah.
He just make you happy.
Yeah, every time she laughed, I would get happy. I'm like,
You know, that's reminded me of a friend that I have, and you know, my wife always hear me tell a story especially when me and this friend meet up. When we were kids, he used to have his wife. His wife now. Back then, we were like 20 something or early 20s.
Yeah, I think you guys are probably younger than that.
Yeah, that was his girlfriend, right? And his name is Mortimer. And whenever Mortimer girlfriend was around him, that boy didn't, because we used to hang out together, and so we in Jamaica we love to eat. We always eating stuff, and so everybody will eat the dinner and all that stuff. And the moment Mortimer girlfriend comes around, we know that he's not gonna eat. So like, Mortimer, you hungry? No. Can I have your food? Yes. He would just go and have it. And so he would be around her for hours, 4, 5, 6 hours. The moment she left, where's my food?
yeah, you get right back, snap out of it.
So you just remind me of that. Whenever you just look at her and it makes you happy.
I
that's
love
good.
it.
That's good.
And I remember being in high school and like my parents would call me for dinner and I'd be like, I'm not hungry. And my mom would be like, oh, you're living off love? Like you don't want to eat, you're full off love. And we tease our kids like that. And, Thurston Wright, if you're still listening, we're giving you a shout out. He says something about real estate and he's shouting out his people, the Force MDs. So thanks for watching. Vanjie says she loves love and she misses the simplicity of young dating. She said when you're dating, when you're older, there's a lot of baggage to unpack.
That's what I was watching and I was thinking that. I was like, when you get older, it's a lot more things that person has done that you have to be kind of okay with, like moving forward. So it kind of narrows down the person that you're going to be with and the options you have. So it's like when you're young, like me, we being in high school, we didn't really get into anything, especially me being a good kid, her being a good kid or whatever. We didn't get into anything, so it's like, all right, I like you. You don't have any extra baggage. We can move forward and build a future together.
Right.
Like when you get older, it's like, well, you have a past, and some things I'm not comfortable with. So I don't know. It might not sit. It might not sit well with me moving forward.
Interesting.
Stuff like that.
So you've been with your girlfriend for 4 years.
Yeah.
You're a junior in college. What are your intentions with this young lady?
Oh man.
I'm on the spot.
But anyway, listen.
She may be listening, bro.
I'm a mom, so yeah, that's how we think.
Well, I have been thinking about marriage, and I don't know, like when y'all were opening the show, y'all talking about getting married young.
Mm-hmm.
Like in 2 years, I'll be 23, 24 ish. So me getting married at that age, it doesn't seem bad, but we've been together for 6 years. So it seems like, okay, if you're together for 6 years, then you should get married, right?
Yeah.
You know, so I don't know. She's still going to be in college.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like for her to get married in college is kind of, you know,
Right,
I want to have everything together. Like I want both of us to be together, and by that time it'll probably be going on 8 years. So I was thinking, like, what is there like a time commitment or something in a relationship where you have to get married by this time? You know?
Yeah, there's no you have to get married by this time. And don't let anyone put time constraints on you. You know when you're ready. If that's a year from now, 2 years from now, it's totally, you know, the ball is definitely in your court. What I would say is, you don't want to be together with this young lady for 15, 17, 18 years and she doesn't have a ring.
Yeah, right.
If you know that that's not in the future, then we always say, don't play around with somebody else's future. Right. You know what I mean?
Oh, she's gonna be here.
Yeah. And so what do your parents say? Have you spoken to your parents about this?
My mom like her.
But before you answer that question, Dave, you know, I was just reading Dana's comment, and the end part of her statement says that, you know, during your singleness, that's when you should be building that foundation. And she is so right. As men, our job is to build that foundation. We can't pursue a woman without having a foundation, because women, you know, will not land until she knows she has a solid foundation to land on. So our job is to build that foundation. You know, if it takes you another 3-4 years or whatever, you have to, before you get into a relationship, you must already have a plan. You understand me? And a lot of times we have plans, but we just don't know how to implement them. You have to put time straight on, okay, within the next 2 years I need to accomplish this as part of my plan. And even though it's maybe 2 years, sometimes you need to go back to the drawing board and give yourself short window time. Okay, it's been 6 months of the 2 years. Where am I in this journey? And you have to hold yourself accountable with these things, and not just that, but you have to find an accountable partner, because if you don't, you know, you're gonna bring a female into that unstable ground, you know, and for the rest of your dating life, or if you end up marrying or your marrying life, you're still trying to figure out stuff. Gotta have that foundation, build that foundation.
Yeah. And you know, I love that you have a plan, but there's a misconception too that we have to have everything together. You know, everything has to be right. Everything is never gonna be right. But if you have a plan, like my husband said, and you're both willing to work towards achieving those things together, then it's a great way to start a marriage, knowing that this is the plan, this is where we'd like to be in 2 years, in 5 years, in 7 years, whatever the case may be. But sometimes we get hung up in the, I don't have my degree yet, I don't have the 6-figure job yet, I don't have the house yet, I don't have this yet. But you know what? Sometimes it's in struggling together as a married couple to achieve those things where you build that bond, you know, where you really connect, when you learn how to struggle together and fight through stuff together. So, and that's one of the things that we tell our daughter and her husband. You know, she's 23 now, 23 now, and he's gonna be 27, so they're still, you know, fairly young, and sometimes she'll call with an issue, and my thing is, I can't solve the issue for you. When the two of you struggle through this together, it's going to bring you closer together. So don't ever think that my job as the man is to just have everything has to be just so before I can propose. No, you propose because you know this is who you want to be with, this is who you want to build a future with, and then together you guys make a plan. How you gonna, you know, impact the world as a couple, because that's really what it's about. What's gonna be your purpose as husband and wife? What's gonna be your mission as husband and wife? Not just to get married, to say that you're married, but how are we going to impact the world as husband and wife?
And let me say this real quick. There is nothing wrong with struggle, right? Because struggle sometimes form or shape your future. But what is wrong, though, is when you become complacent in your struggle. You know, you can't afford to become complacent in your struggle because it will interfere with the process of your future. You know, you struggle together, and while in your struggle, you're looking at your struggle and saying, okay, how can I use this as a stepping stone instead of a stumbling block? And so you look at your struggle as a stepping stone and put things in place so that as you progress through your struggle, you know that you will never get back here again. But when you see it as a stumbling block, then you probably will stay right there, become stagnant, and eventually die right there.
Yeah, and I see that Terrell Hutchinson is watching live. Terrell is actually my cousin. He lives in Jersey, and he got married young. And he and his wife, I'm not even sure how many years now that they've been married, but Terrell, if you are still watching and you're near a phone, give us a call. We want to talk about, you know, what that looked like, you know, getting married as young as you did. 570-218-9699, 570-218-9699. And of course, our listeners are giving you a high five, Nasir, on having a plan. It's a good thing to have a plan. And Ophelia, because I think you mentioned about the baggage that some of us come into a relationship with. Ophelia says, forgiveness is powerful and necessary to continue in a relationship after being hurt. So, yes, as you get older, you do have more things in your suitcase, right? Because we're all going to have baggage. But what we tell people is be sure that you're comfortable unpacking in front of that other person.
Come on.
Yes, you have your baggage, but you know what? Let's unpack in front of each other and let me show you what I'm carrying. You know, I'm carrying this from my childhood. I'm carrying this from my teenage years. Because your partner can really help you navigate through some of those things. And work through some of them. So it's really important that we're honest in that we do have a forgiving spirit with the person that we claim that we want to be with.
Yeah. Awesome.
Good stuff. So yes, Dawn says thumbs up on having a plan. You know, absolutely. Marilyn McNeil said she married her junior high school sweetheart. So from junior high.
Yeah, that's what that is.
Wow. Let's see. Married high school sweetheart. You need to be an open book with your mate. So, you know, you guys are still pretty young, early 20s. How important is transparency and honesty to you? Do you think there's ever too much honesty or some things that you should never talk about in a relationship?
Well, from my personal experience, I can say that I'm open with my girlfriend about everything. She knows my whole life back and forth. And I say that because there was a point where I had, you know, communication issues with my parents. And I saw that flow into my relationship with her. And, you know, I saw that, like, she addressed it like this is a problem. And, you know, I was man enough to say, all right, yeah, I have a problem and I have to fix it, you know? And so I've been really open with her about everything. And so that's where communication comes in. And when you have communication, then you have honesty and all that kind of stuff. When you don't have that, then, you know, cheating happens and, oh, you know, this person isn't loyal, blah, blah, blah. And, you know, you get paranoid and all that kind of stuff. So I think communication is really key in that sense.
Wow, awesome.
I think it's what I've noticed is you have to, just be open, wants, needs. You know, and at the same time, don't compromise yourself too much. If you feel you're giving too much on your end, I feel a lot of times people will compromise themselves to make something work to end that loneliness. And that's where the tension builds. And when you aren't expressing certain things and you hold them back because you don't want to rock the boat, you know, you don't want to shake the table because things are cool if you keep it in, but keeping it in, that's ultimately just going to tear you down. It's going to tear the whole thing down. So you just have to speak, and if you are afraid that what you have to ask of this person is asking too much of them, or you feel they feel that it'll be asking too much of them, then that's not the person. You know, there's you know, a bunch of people. If you know what I guess if your baggage too. If what you have to express to them is your baggage,
right?
You know, like if they can't, you know, say, you know what, I'm strong enough, I can carry your bags too, or I can help you out. You know, it's all right. There's 8 billion people out here, or 7 billion, whatever. Split it in half. I think there's a little bit more men or women than men, but you know, so that means there's plenty of women out here. At least from a guy's perspective. And girls, I guess slim pickings are slim, but it's all right. There's somebody for everybody.
You know what's interesting though? I found my girlfriend out of me being in a lonely place. You know, I felt like nobody really wanted me, or something like that. No, I felt like that, and she kind of came in and saved me at that moment, you know, and I was able to express everything to her. So like me being in such a low spot and being able to trust her with the things that I was feeling, it kind of started that first flame that y'all were talking about. It started that, and since then, that's why we were able to last so long, because we have a core friendship. You know what I mean? Like that's my best friend. I'm her best friend, and that's okay. I'm sorry. It's a lot because throughout the 4 years we've been through a lot of things, a lot of ups and downs. She's been down, I've been up at some point, or I've been down, she's been up. But it's like we've actually both been down at a point, and it's like when you have so many dynamics in that relationship, you have to have that friendship and that transparency in order to last. You know what I mean? You need to have somebody there when you feel like everybody around you can't trust. Like you were saying about paranoia. Like if you feel as though that person isn't telling you everything, or that people around you aren't telling you everything, you need an outlet. You need somebody to go to. And especially if that person is in a relationship with you, like a serious relationship with you, you have to be able to trust them with your like deepest, darkest secrets or whatever. Like she knows things that my mother doesn't even know.
Wow. So
it's like I trust her so much, and I don't know. I'm feeling a lot right now. I'm feeling a lot right now.
I want to bounce off of what you're talking about. I mean, what I tell people is like you have to really communicate like you're a toddler, like children, because they tell people everything. I used to work as a counselor at the YMCA, and all these kids they tell me everything. Like my mom this, my mom. I'm like, oh, cool. I don't even know them like that, so you know.
Wow, that's a great thing to say. Yeah, you do any little thing that might eat at you, insignificant or not, usually letting it out. And if you do have that comfort with somebody where you can let out those insignificant things to get reassurance that, you know what you're worrying about, I can understand the pressure that you feel, and it's okay to be worried. And also they can diffuse that worry and be like, you know, at least put it in perspective. But at the same time, like it comes down to holding things in. So if there is something that bothers you, or you feel that they're doing something and you don't like it, you can speak up on it. You know, and if they're not willing to change that, you are like I said, you find out they're not the one. So it's really, honestly, when you say this, when you put it in this way, it's almost like you need to come in here, let everything out. This is what I have on the table. Put all the chips on the table. This is me. You know what I mean?
You handle it or not.
You handle it or not. We don't even have to get started just yet.
And you know, this is such a breath of fresh air. hearing you guys, listening to you guys, because this level of commitment, this level of communication, this level of desire for relationship, we normally get it from female and not men.
No,
you know,
feel.
you know,
Definitely feel.
you know, and you know, most of the time, you know, men your age are running around trying to figure out, you know, how much more notch they can get on their belt and all that stuff. And so, you know, I am, you know, I am beyond words, you know, when I really sit and listen to you guys.
Yeah.
You know, and the level of respect that you have, the level of communication, the level of desire that you have to want a relationship and to keep maintain it, you know, is, you know, when I listen to you, brother, you know, young kid, man, how old are you?
21.
Man, I didn't even have a girlfriend at age 21. Didn't even have a girlfriend. My first girlfriend, age 24. And you 4 years in.
Yeah.
Bruh, that's serious, man. And so you know, when I listen to you guys, man, you know, kudos to you, man.
Yeah.
You know, that tells me that there are still good men
Oh
out
yeah,
there.
absolutely. And you know what I find really interesting listening to these three young men is that if we were given relationship advice, we would be saying exactly what they just said. Communication, having that person as your best friend, transparency, you know, loyalty. And so you guys get it. And I want our listeners to know you don't have to complicate relationships so much, because it's really not that complicated. Either he's into you or he's not. Either she's into you or she's not. Either you can trust them or you can't. You know, either they're worth the effort or they're not. But I think what happens is we see all the red flags. Can't be trusted. I'm compromising myself too much. We don't talk the way we should. But even though we see these red flags, the loneliness, the fear of being alone keeps us in that relationship. So now this is when the baggage starts to build up, because I'm staying in a relationship where I'm not fulfilled. I can't trust the person, but I'm going to stay. Then it doesn't work out, and I go to the next person, and I can't trust them right off the bat because I couldn't trust this one.
We hear that all the time.
Yeah.
All the time. That's every girl's excuse.
Right.
But mostly, you know, it's,
He
it's,
hurt
I mean,
me.
There's different things. Like, I feel as far as compromising yourself, that is a red flag that can be tended to with communication. You know, if you express, you know, what it is, then you can work on the compromise. Because, you know, a lot of times you're compromising yourself, but you never even brought it up that this is something that eats at you, you know? And a lot of times I feel you do things like, you know, with, I'm trying to think of an example. It's, you'll do things and you feel like you're doing it out of love and you do it selflessly. And then you realize that that energy isn't coming back to you. And even, and that's when you're still doing it out of love and you still want to do these things, but eventually it eats away at you and you almost, and like then you start to become frustrated or have resentment towards that person, and that's when things fall apart. That's you gotta talk, because if they don't like what you have to say, then there it is right there. Because it might be better to at least be cordial and talk things over, and if it has to end, it ends on good terms. If you can be met halfway, there's that. But if you hold it all back, it's just going to crash and burn.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know what is so crazy here? I'm sitting listening to these gentlemen. So we start off the show, and our desire was to talk about dating now versus dating then. You know, millennial dating.
Right.
But then when you listen to these guys, ain't nothing millennial about them apart from the little DM and all that stuff. But you know, their core value, their principles, their foundation is still
set.
Yeah.
I think
Awesome.
that kind of goes to show that not much has changed besides the social media.
Right.
Like, we still, in order to make things work between humans, in order, you know, there's basics.
Right.
Just like, you know, all people, doesn't matter where you're from, you want love, you want intimacy and companionship. You know, so those things, they're all core basics. Now there's a difference, like Now you gotta think about the practicality of this. Now me, I would introduce myself to the parents and everything like that. Now I'm not gonna honk my horn for somebody to come out, but to pull up and go like this, I'm here, instead of going all the way to the doorbell.
Right.
You know what I mean? You can understand why people would do it, just because this is something that you couldn't do.
Right.
You know,
Back in
20
the day.
years ago, 30
Right.
years ago, you couldn't, you know, unless you had a phone in your car. When did they have phones in the car?
Why are you asking us? Babe, he's trying to say we old.
Yeah.
I mean,
No,
I'm
but phones
sure.
were in the car back in the 80s though.
All right, so in the 80s, if you had the money to get a, you know, have a phone in your car, then maybe you could be like, I'm outside. But you know, it's just, I don't know, we have the shortcuts. And like I said, in the DMs, you can get all that get to know you out of the way, which it does ruin things, because I do like to try to keep it short and brief if I can. Now, a lot of times you might meet somebody on social media that's far away, and it's not practical, or Ayana wants me to use the word conducive for you guys to meet up, you know, and get to know each other. So maybe, you know, it does help, but there's a lot of people get lazy, you know. It's simple. You could get out the car and go knock on the door. You can text, I'm here. Or you can, you can make the time and keep things short, you know, in the DMs or through text, and actually get to know each other. And that's really, and like I've done that before, you know, like I've met somebody online and then actually met in person and clicked, and you know, it feels good. It's definitely what's the word? I'm trying to think. A vibrant feeling? Vibrant feeling, you know, when you actually have all these get to know you conversations in person, just because you get the expression. Like somebody says something that you can relate to, you know, you can do one of those. Like, you know, it's like, oh my gosh, you know. So there's being in person, there's something, we all need that eventually. I don't think we'll destroy ourselves before we completely detach.
And people, I think people overcomplicate dating too. I think this generation thinks you have to like go to the movies, go to dinner, go skating right after, like all in one night. It's like, no, just go for a walk. Go get some food. That's it. Like, that's
they call it talking.
I like it. So as we get, I can't believe how quick the time went.
Yeah, we gotta take another break, huh?
No, we're not gonna take a break. We're gonna wrap this up. So I want to go down the line. I want to start with you, Nasir. If you were to give one piece of dating advice to our listeners, whether they are your generation,
We still have 15 minutes.
the younger generation, whatever the age group, if you had to give one piece of dating advice to our listeners, what would that be?
Make sure you develop a friendship. Because no matter what you go through, as long as you have that friendship, you'll be able to work it out.
Okay, awesome. Friends?
I mean, I've been saying it, just the communication and being open. Don't hold it back. Don't let it boil up. And at the same time, you know, I say compromise yourself a lot. I mean, people end up tending to do that, but have self-respect in it too. You know, like I think that's when it comes up to speaking of, because when you compromise yourself, that's where that resentment comes, is because you realize that you have just been putting yourself out there for what?
Right.
You know, and then that's what can make you angry, and it's all preventable. You just gotta speak up.
Awesome.
Based on my experiences and where I'm at in life and in my relationship, I always tell people everybody in your life is in there for a reason, you know. And so, for instance, when I first started dating my girlfriend, she showed me things about myself that I didn't know, and I got on a call from her sister's boyfriend, because they're all close, and so he was talking to me, and he's like, so, like, what are your, like, why do you like her? What, like, why? And I told him she gives me motivation. You know, she's a sense of motivation for me, and I'm here talking like I'm a motivational speaker. like she gives that sense of that source of motivation for me, because she showed me characteristics that I have that I didn't know. I had problems with communications, and she showed me that. I had problems with time management, and she showed me that. You know, and so it's kind of like, she's a mirror where I can kind of see my reflection in there.
Come
So,
on.
Wow.
you know, I think that's the best advice I can give to anybody in a relationship or who wants to date.
Wow.
And
Awesome.
And you know, it is so funny. And those are kind of some of the things that you can use as a gauge to know that this lady right here got to be the one.
Yeah.
You know, because when you become as the Bible said, vulnerable, naked and unashamed in front of her, and she see your nakedness and still don't judge you, you know, from that place, but she sees it and she said, okay, these are the areas that you're weak in. Let me help you to be strong. You understand me? She got to be the one.
Yeah.
Got to be the one.
Yeah. I mean, great words of advice for our listeners, and just a few comments here. Marilyn says, if you don't know and love yourself, how can you love and trust and know your mate?
That's true.
You know, just knowing who you are, and I think we talked about that a little bit, knowing your value and your sense of worth is so important, because if you don't know that, you can't truly love anyone else.
Right.
You know, and you're definitely not gonna demonstrate to someone how they should treat you if you don't even know that you're valuable. So very good point. Ophelia said, you would have to meet me and my husband before you dated my daughter. Absolutely, Ophelia. Doreen said, yes, bring him to the door, and he should ask permission to take her to the movies. You should see who your daughter is going out with. Absolutely. So we told you earlier that our son is 14, and a couple months ago he wanted to go to the movies with a girl. He says she's his best friend. We met her, very sweet girl, but you're not going to the movies alone by yourself with a girl at 14. Hormones are racing, the movie theater is dark. I was 14 too, and we used to do in dark movie theaters. So, you know, we said to him at his age, he would need to be escorted. You know, you guys would need an adult with you. Her parents can go with you guys, or we can go. And we need to be sitting in pretty close proximity.
You could sit in front of us, we'll sit behind you.
Right. But, you know, as parents, I think we have to show our kids the right way. You know, we don't just want to thrust them out there to figure it out on their own, because I think that's when they make mistakes, and, you know, they get themselves in trouble, or they get caught up so young, and you hear about, you know, teenagers committing suicide because the boyfriend broke up with her, or the girlfriend, break up with him. So it's really important that we take a step back and get back to basics.
Yeah, I mean, even with that, is people see the end of any kind of relationship as the end of the world, and I think you said it. People come into your life for a reason. People need to understand that too. If you have a short relationship, take what you can get from it afterwards. Like, that's one thing. It's like, I'll always assess what could I have done better.
Yeah.
And also, what values did that person show me that I've realized, you know what, that's something that I should look for in the next person. And also, what were they doing that wasn't good? That's a red flag if I see it the next time.
Yeah.
You know, people need to step back and assess and appreciate that. And I mean, even in a sense where you might come into a relationship with, like you said, your girl had shown you things about yourself that you didn't know. You know, I would say that's her purpose. Her purpose came in and had you know yourself better. You know, and you said you can't love somebody unless you know yourself, love yourself. So at the same time that, you know, I'm sure you guys are going to last long. There might be other people in different situations where that person comes in for a glimpse, and they learn what they need to. Everything hits them at once, and then you know they're out, and you know, for whatever reason, and that's just the way it is. But now you're a better person. You have to take everything, every interaction, you know, good or bad. There's always, if you can look at it the right way, there's always a positive message.
I like what you're saying, man. It's like
message
if you want to, like, really, like, with patience, man, If you want to develop patience, you're gonna be stuck in traffic.
Yes.
The traffic, that's one way to develop patience. The long line in Walmart, like all these things. Like my siblings,
I hate that stuff.
My siblings, like they test me all the time, and with anger and all these things, you know. So based off what you're saying, like all these people, they come into your life for a reason.
So it's just you got to take what you can get from it.
And you know, listening to you guys, and it reminded me of a statement that Tyler Perry made, you know, and a lot of times people see that dude as, you know, they can't see past Medea.
Yeah, I don't know if he wants people to see past Medea.
Right.
Dressed like her.
Yeah, you know, but he said something that stayed with me and still with me. He says, you know, there are some people that come in your life on their leaves on the tree, and when the wind blows as the season changes, the leaf falls, right? There are some people that are like the branches, you know, and so they're with you, and they're somewhat strong. But if a north wind blow too strong, those branches break, and that's a wrap. And then those are like the root, grounded firm and deep, and stayed with you. But the problem that we're having is that we want the leaf to be like root. We want the branches to be like root. And we're holding on to that for dear life. You understand me? And listen, the leaf are there to serve a purpose. Their purpose is finished, let it go.
Right.
The branches is the same.
Right.
Look at the root and make sure that root is firm, is deep and firm, and hold on to that. You know, like as I said, people come in your life for a season. You know, once that season is over, just let it be. You've learned what you need to learn, and move on.
That's something that I don't know why. It has to take experience, because I mean, you can tell people things all the time, and you know, we have to touch the stove to find out that it's hot. You know, like it's human nature. Like I could tell you all you want, and you gotta get burnt. You gotta get burnt. So it is a thing though. I think a lot of people, I feel like in our generation too, expect people to be staying. You know, and that's, you know, I learned at a very young age that, you know, people do come and go. You know, and it doesn't matter if you want them to stay or not. When it's their time to go, it goes. And honestly, sometimes the time after them and without them is a lot more valuable than the time that you were with them. Because you can actually step back and see. And I think a lot of times we don't get what we're supposed to get from somebody that's in your life until they're gone. Kind of like when a parent takes away the toy from you, and like you might not have been playing with that toy, but they took the toy. Now you're crying.
Yeah, you're crying.
And you didn't know you missed it until it was gone.
Now you're starting to miss the toy.
Now you understand.
That's
now
why
you understand. Like
you never miss your water.
Like you're not eating your food, or you're not messing with whatever, or you want to turn that off. No, you know that's how kids are. But we all got that kid in us, and we don't ever learn our lesson until it's gone, until we get it right.
So profound. I mean,
that's just how it is.
We can just stay here all night and talk to you guys. You're
I had my own show.
So much
I had my own show for a little bit. I talk my talk.
So much wisdom. But we definitely want to share a couple of things that we have coming up with our listeners. We want to thank the three of you so much. For being here and for talking to us, and we're definitely going to invite you guys back. And listen, when your girlfriends come to visit, make sure it's on a Tuesday, and let us know ahead of time. Right, let us know ahead of time so we can bring them in, you know, with you guys, and you know, just continue to continue this dialogue and have you guys pour into us, because I've learned a lot tonight from you guys. So we really, really appreciate it.
We'll try to get you a panel of women.
Next time, right? So to our listeners, and definitely to you three as well, on Friday, March 16th, we have the pleasure of having David Burrows come into the Poconos. If you follow the Smiths at all, you know that David is our brother.
This dude is on fire.
He's our friend, but more importantly, he is a phenomenal leader and a relationship coach and a leadership strategist. And he's going to be in the Poconos in Bushkill at Faith International Church. His topic on the Friday evening is going to be the heart of a king. And he's talking to young kings as well as older kings, just about understanding your purpose and your mission as a man. So it's going to be really incredible. It's at 7:30 in the evening. And so you guys are invited. Bring your friends from college, your brothers, whoever you know.
If you guys need to be picked up, we'll pick you up.
That's right.
I live by there, so.
Oh,
you do?
Okay.
Yep.
Awesome. So it's going to be really, really incredible, and we'll be sure to post the flyer up on our page and on Meet the Smiths on Clear FM. So if you live in the Poconos or the surrounding areas, you do not want to miss David on Friday, March 16th, and he's also going to be at Faith International on the Sunday, delivering the word that Sunday morning. So definitely, get your brothers, your husbands, your boyfriends, your sons, because our son will definitely be in the building.
Right. He's coming all the way from Cali, man.
Yes.
He's serious. My wife and I, we just finished a relationship boot camp cruise this past October, where we were in Jamaica, Cozumel, Mexico, and Grand Cayman, and he was one of the
one of our speakers.
One of our speakers, and let me tell you,
Yeah.
phenomenal,
Powerful.
And this coming October, we're gonna be in Costa Rica.
Yes.
And he's gonna be a part of that trip as well. So
Yep. So those of you who are still on the fence about Costa Rica, it's still not too late.
Nah.
We have, I think, approximately 80 people coming to Costa Rica. We're excited.
And we have a couple signed up this weekend when we're at the
Yes,
marriage
we
retreat.
actually had 3 couples
Yes.
that signed up this weekend. So the travel agent is still accepting deposits, and he's working out payment plans for you. The date is October 26th through the 31st. We're going to be doing a 40-day fast leading up to this Costa Rica trip, and you can fast from whatever you want to fast from for those 40 days. It can be TV, it can be food, it can be sugar, it can be meat, it can be social media. Whatever it is that you need to quiet for those 40 days, you fast, and then we break the fast in Costa Rica.
Come on, Doreen. We need to see you there, Doreen.
But it's going to be a lot of fun. We're doing a 70s social event the Saturday evening. We want everyone dressed in their 70s gear. Get your afros and your bell bottoms and your platform
You guys too young for that. You have no clue what that is.
So yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. We're planning our group excursions now. Horseback riding in the ocean, zip lining, whatever they have to offer, we want to experience it. And remember, Costa Rica is not just for married couples. If you're single, we're going to have something for you. If you're engaged, we have something for you. So definitely reach out to Mike. His number is 570-417-5204. Or you can go to mike1travel.com or meetthesmiths.org for more details. And big announcement. Ding, 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 ding.
Oh, that.
So we have decided that we love being on Clear.fm every Tuesday night. We love coming to you on Facebook Live. But we're going to take it a step further. Starting on March 27th, Tuesday, March 27th.
Say it again, March 27th.
We are actually going to do a live taping right here in the studio. So if you live in the Poconos and you want to come and be a part of our live studio audience, we will have the Eventbrite page up. You will get
tomorrow.
Yes. You're going to come in studio, you're going to be part of our live audience, you're going to get to meet and greet with us, take pictures, we're going to have a buffet. Yes, we're going to have some giveaways, you're going to get a little gift bag. It's going to be a lot of fun. We want to meet you in person, not just online. We were talking about that, right? So taking that interaction from
catfish,
right, no catfish here.
Catfish
You know,
fans.
we want you to be able to interact with us in person. So stay tuned for more information. We will post the Eventbrite link. We're it's going to be limited. Our studio is not huge, so if you want to meet us, you got to jump on it. It's only $30 per couple. You get food again, and you know, we're gonna just have a lot of fun. You get to meet DJ Ray Goodman and Brown in person. You're gonna get to see the man behind the music.
Right.
So definitely stay tuned for that. We're gonna do that once a month, just to connect with you guys on a personal level. I think that's all the announcements we have.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
It's been a great show. We have our, gotta find the Bible text. You should have been looking for that while I was doing my thing, but that's okay. I'm gonna pull it up. 1 Corinthians 13, you know, that's the love chapter, and we picked that this month because February is Love Month. Right? And I'm gonna read the King James Version, so it's gonna sound a little different, but you get the picture. Charity, love, suffereth long and is kind. Love envieth not. Love vaunteth not itself. It is not puffed up. Does not behave itself unseemly. Seeketh not her own. Is not easily provoked. Thinketh no evil. Rejoiceth not in iniquity, but rejoiceth in the truth. Beareth all things. Believeth all things. Hopeth all things. Endureth all things. That's love, y'all. So we don't just want you to memorize this verse, we want you to live it. How can you live love this week at home?
And remember, the Army's asking you
to be Army strong,
but Smiths are asking you to be relationship strong. Good
Thanks
night,
for
everybody.
watching. Have a great week.
I was clapping in silence.
You guys were really